Hey guys, we are back with some more MODO Hockey Eastside Hockey Manager, and in this one, we are starting out the episode 10, 5, 1, and 1, and we are going to try to go the rest of the regular season in this one so we can get straight to the playoffs in the next one. The Allsvenskan Player of the Month is Fredrik Olofsson of your MODO Hockey, and the Rookie of the Month is Dean Hermanson of Almtuna. We are currently 15, 6, 2, and 2, so we had a very good stretch in that month. As we check out the schedule here, we had a 4-3 overtime win against Västerås, a 5-2 win against Kristianstad, a 2-1 overtime loss against Almtuna, a 6-4 win against Björklöven, a 4-2 win against Mora, a 4-1 win against Pantern, a 4-0 win against, I believe that is Södertälje, and a 4-1 loss against Oskarshamn. Goalie stats, I don't believe Forsberg actually played at all in that month. No, he did not. So he has the same stats as what he previously had, but Victor Olsson, who played all of the games in that month, he is 7-1-2 now, has a .913 save percentage, a 2.22 goals against average, and a .758 average rating. So both of our main goaltenders are doing very well right now. For defenseman, David Mikowski with 13 points in 25 games, 11 points for Cameron McDonald, 10 points for Philip Norberg, 9 for Johansson, 6 for Stridsberg, and 4 for Berglund and Ginning, 1 for Sixna, and nothing for Soderberg. Average ratings, you have Johansson with a 720 as well as McDonald, a 712 for Mikowski, a 708 for Stridsberg, a 704 for Norberg, a 680 for Berglund and Ginning, a 670 for Edgar Sixna, and a 629 for Soderberg. And forwards, you have Olofsson with 23 points, 19 points for Schmidt-Svedstrup, Dyke with 18 points, 17 for Osman, 13 for Solander and Winkvist, 12 for Forsberg, Johansson, and Rosdahl, and Brozicek with 10, 8 for Beretsnev and Trelor, 6 for Lilywall, who's currently scratched, as well as Naslund and Olstrom, who have nothing. Average ratings, Schmidt-Svedstrup with a 771 average rating, a 750 for Fredrik Olofsson, a 732 for Dyke, a 729 for Rosdahl, a 727 for Johansson, a 717 for Forsberg, a 7 for Beretsnev and Solander, a 688 for Ambrozicek, a 675 for Winkvist, a 669 for Trelor, a 668 for Osman, a 650 for Olstrom, a 643 for Naslund, and a 638 for Lilywall. And actually, while we're at it, we may as well switch Lilywall's alternate to somebody else since he's been scratched for the past month. We will give it to, I'd say, Kim Rosdahl. He's been pretty good for us. And since Olsen played so much in November, we will get Forsberg back in there for December, or at least for part of it. And unfortunately, Kalle Osman has suffered an injury for 10 days with a neck strain in practice. You hate to see it. So in his place will be Alex Naslund, since he is 21. Alstrom is 34. Lilywall is 33. May as well give the time to the young guy. And Kalle Osman is back just in time for our game against Vida Hasten, so we will take Alex Naslund out and get Osman back in. And the Allsvenskan Player of the Month is Fredrik Olofsson from your MODO Hockey. And the Rookie of the Month is Linus Lindblom from Timra. So at this point in the season, we are 21, 8, 3, and 2. We have established ourselves as one of the elite teams in the Allsvenskan this year. Hopefully it will stay that way, as we do have a couple of teams behind us. So we definitely cannot afford to start losing too many games. But I'm confident with this team going forward. In goal, Victor Olsson played one game that month and he won it. He has a .916 save percentage and 211 goals against average. And Eric Forsberg played the majority in the games in that month. He is 15-5 with a .915 save percentage and a 211 goals against average as well. And average ratings for the two, a 769 for Olsson and a 765 for Forsberg. Both of them have been fantastic so far this season. Let's hope they can keep it up. As for defensemen, you have 21 points for Mikowski, 15 for McDonald, 14 for Norberg, 13 for Johansson, 11 for Stridsberg, 7 for Berglund, 5 for Ginning, 1 for Sixna, and nothing for Soderberg. He has not dressed in a while. Average ratings, Johansson with a 726, a 721 for Mikowski and McDonald, a 709 for Stridsberg, a 703 for Norberg, a 691 for Berglund, a 682 for Ginning, a 659 for Sixna, and a 629 for Soderberg. Forwards, you have Fredrik Olofsson with 33 points in 31 games. You have Dyke and Schmidt-Svedstrup with 25 points, 21 points for Osman, 20 points for Forsberg, 19 for Winqvist, 17 for Johansson, 16 for Selander and Trelor, 15 for Beresnev, 14 for Rosdahl, 13 for Ambrosiak, 6 for Loliewall, who's been scratched, 1 for Naslund, nothing for Ulstrom. And average ratings for forwards, you have a 761 for Olofsson, a 760 for Schmidt-Svestrup, a 740 for Forsberg, a 735 for Dyke, a 726 for Johansson, a 719 for Rosdahl, a 712 for Beresnev, a 685 for Ambrosiak, a 682 for Savander, a 679 for Winqvist, a 677 for Trelor, a 663 for Osman, a 656 for Naslund, a 650 for Ulstrom, and a 638 for Liliewall. And now a review of the past month's games. We had a 3-1 win against Vastervik, a 3-2 loss against Karlskrona, a 7-3 win against Timra, a 4-2 win over Vida Hasten, a 5-1 win over Karlskoga, a 3-2 loss against Vasteras, a 4-3 shootout win against Kristianstad, a 4-2 win against Almtuna, and a 3-1 win against Björklöven. So obviously we are winning a lot of games here. There's not that much of the season left, so we may as well just do the last 2 months in this episode and get right up to the playoffs, and we will leave it off there. And the Allsvenskan Player of the Month is Fredrik Olofsson, and the Rookie of the Month is Carl-Johan Wickner Sundborg. That is a long name, of Karlskrona. And the up-to-date goalie stats, Victor Olsson didn't play a whole lot that month, but he still has a .917 save percentage and a .214 goals against average and a .771 average rating. Eric Forsberg did most of the heavy lifting that month. He has a 21-5 record, a .914 save percentage, and 2.12 goals against average with a 7.69 average rating. We have two phenomenal goaltenders here. Defensemen, you have Mikowski with 28 points, 19 points for Norberg, 18 for Johansson, 15 for McDonald, 12 for Stridsberg, 9 for Berglund, 8 for Ginning, 1 for Sixna, and Soderberg hasn't played in a while. Average ratings, you have Johansson with a 734, a 732 for Mikowski, a 714 for McDonald, a 711 for Norberg, a 698 for Stridsberg, a 686 for both Berglund and Ginning, a 667 for Sixna, and as we know, Soderberg with a 629. And Fredrik Olofsson leads forwards with 44 points in 41 games, 34 for Dyke, 30 for Schmidt-Svestrup, 28 for Forsberg, 26 for Osman, 21 for Johansson, Rosdahl, and Savander, and Trelor, and Winqvist, 16 for Ambrosiak and Beresnev, and then 6 for Liliewall, 1 for Naslund, nothing for Ulstrom. And average ratings, you have a 773 for Olofsson, a 749 for Schmidt-Svestrup, a 736 for Dyke, a 734 for Forsberg, a 732 for Rosdahl, a 722 for Johansson, a 702 for Beresnev, a 680 for Ambrosiak and Savander, a 667 for Osman, a 663 for Trelor, a 656 for Winqvist and Naslund, a 650 for Ulstrom, and a 638 for Liliewall. And a standings update with 8 games remaining. We are 27, 10, 5, and 2. We are one of the best teams in the Allsvenskan this year. As long as that continues in this last month, we should be good to go for a top 2 spot heading into the playoffs. But before we get to the last month of simulating, we will check out the games from the past month. 3-0 loss against Mora. We had a 4-2 win against Karlskrona, a 3-2 loss against Södertälje, a 5-3 win against Pantern, a 4-2 win against Oskarshamn, a 3-2 overtime win against Vastervik, a 5-2 win against Timra, a 4-2 win against Vida Hasten, another 4-2 win against Vida Hasten, and then a 2-1 shootout win against Karlskoga. And we have indeed qualified for the next stage, meaning we are qualified for the top 2. There are 2 games remaining in the season, and we have 108 points. There is no way that any team can knock us out now. We are officially into the championship series. So we're going to see now who we have in our playoff series. And unfortunately, at the very end of the season, Ambrosiak suffers an injury for about a week with a neck strain in our final game of the season. And our playoff matchup will be against Timra, and it looks as if it is only a 3-game series, so we really have to make sure to make the best of our opportunities here. And now we will take a look at the final regular season stats. Olsen with a 916 save percentage in 23 games and a 215 goals against average and a 774 average rating. Eric Forsberg with 28 games played, a 914 save percentage, a 218 goals against average, and a 768 average rating. Both our goaltenders were phenomenal this year. Defensively, you have Mikowski with 31 points, 22 for Norberg, 21 for Johansson, 17 for McDonald, 14 for Stridsberg, 11 for Ginning, 10 for Berglund, 3 for Sixna, and Soderberg did not play a single game since the start of the season. Average ratings, you have Mikowski with a 737, a 731 for Johansson, a 710 for McDonald and Norberg, a 696 for Stridsberg, a 687 for Ginning, a 681 for Berglund, and a 674 for Sixna. And forwards, you have Fredrik Olofsson with 49 points in 48 games, 43 for Dyke, 34 for Forsberg, 33 for Osman, 31 for Svedstrup, 29 for Johansson and Trelaw, 25 for Rosedal, 24 for Beretsnev, 23 for Winkvist, 22 for Savander, 21 for Ambrosichik. And average ratings, Olofsson with a 767, a 749 for Svedstrup, a 744 for Dyke, a 736 for Forsberg, a 733 for Rosedal and Johansson, a 712 for Beretsnev, a 692 for Naslund, a 685 for Ambrosichik, a 667 for Savander, a 666 for Osman, a 660 for Trelaw, a 655 for Winkvist, a 650 for Ahlstrom, and a 638 for Lilliewall. And now reviewing the past games from February, a 4-2 loss against Vasteras, a 5-3 win against Kristianstad, a 6-2 win against Almtuna, a 3-2 win against Björklöven, a 3-0 win against Mora, a 5-2 win against Pantern, a 3-0 loss against Karlskrona, and then a 6-3 win to top off the regular season against Södertälje. So we will end things off here, and in the next one, we will get to the playoffs, and more than likely the offseason as well. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next one.